This is the 2012 Nissan Leaf SL. This is the first all-electric four-door family car available on sale in the world, and this is the second year of its production. There have been some slight changes since we last took a look at it. So let's dive under the hood, let's dive inside and see what the Leaf is all about. So here we are under the hood of the Leaf. We need to know a few things before we begin. There's no engine, of course, since this isn't a hybrid vehicle, so there's no gas tank. So we need to know a few terms. Kilowatt hours, kilowatts, those are the main things we need to know. This is an 80 kilowatt motor here that roughly translates to about 107 horsepower. The engine also produces about 200 pound-feet of torque. So the car is about as fast as 60 as a Prius. The battery capacity is 24 kilowatt hours, so meaning that it'll charge in about 24 hours when it's consuming about the same amount of power as your household space heater. That's the 110 volt charge. If you have a 220 volt home charger that's built into your home or at a public charging station, it'll take about 7 hours to fill that battery. The electric range is about 100 miles or so. Really depends on how you drive, whether you're going up hills, whether you're in traffic, how fast you're going, etc. Those are all factors. We've been averaging about 3.8 miles per kilowatt. So you can translate that into miles per gallon. The EPA claims that's around 99 miles per gallon equivalent. I have no idea how that math works. So right here we have Nissan's emergency charger. This is the 110 volt charging cable that is standard with the Leaf. Nissan does recommend that you purchase a 220 volt charger for your home, unless you have one available at your apartment complex or your condo. They plug in right here in the nose of the Leaf, and again this will take about 24 hours or so to charge on 110 volts, 7 hours and 220 volts. And this port right here is the optional DC quick charge port. And if you had access to a DC quick charge station, there aren't any in the US at the moment, it would take about 30 minutes to charge your Leaf to 80% capacity from empty. Since the Leaf is really trying to be the car for everyone, cargo capacity actually is fairly good. We were able to fit a 55-inch LCD TV in here with the seats folded flat. You can definitely fit luggage for 2 for a weekend away. Luggage for 4 might be a bit more of a squeeze, but since it is a hatchback, you can pile it high. So let's take a look at the inside. So unlike your average compact car, the Nissan Leaf doesn't really feel like it's built to a price. It really feels more like it's built to a weight. And so what I mean by that is these dashboard plastics are hard, but they are textured fairly well. The fit and finish is fairly good, and they'll actually look, fairly nice. The doors get some soft touch plastics, and new for 2012, we now have a leather steering wheel that is heated over here. Buttons on the side for heater, charge timer, and other controls, as well as heated seats both in the front, and the entire rear bench is heated through this control on the front passenger seat. We have single zone climate control over here, and we have our standard nav system here as well. Now the reason for the heated seats and heated steering wheel is it takes an awful lot less energy to heat the seats and steering wheel than heat the air in the car. So you can set your heater in the car at a much lower temperature and then heat the steering wheel and heat the seats and save an awful lot of energy and improve your range. So over here we'll take a look at the nav system. One of the interesting things about the Leaf, of course, is that in a normal car you take for granted how much power certain things consume. So the Leaf helps you by showing a nifty little energy screen here. So if we were to turn on our climate control and turn up the temperature to a more reasonable 70 degrees, turn on our headlights, turn on our windshield wipers here, you can see that our usage starts to grow considerably there. It separates other systems from your climate control, and climate control is the big energy hog here. So since there's no engine to throw off waste heat to heat the cabin, you really do have to run essentially an electric heater in order to heat the Leaf. That is the only downside, and that really does impact your range. We only have 14 miles left on our Leaf here, but the climate control impacts up by 2 miles, so it's a decent power consumption there. Scooting down the center console here, we have our gear shift, we have our parking brake, and you can see that we have drive in eco mode. You know, the one nice thing about the Leaf is that, you know, when the Prius first came out, and even the second and third generation Prius, they're quite different from a normal car. And the Leaf really isn't. The Leaf is very normal car on the inside. You know, you have your instrument cluster where you expect it to be rather than in the center. All the knobs and buttons are in very logical, easy to find places. The steering wheel controls are exactly like they are in any other Nissan product. So it's very normal car-like. And the car definitely drives very much like a normal car. From the steering, which is, you know, numb and vague, but, you know, so is almost every other car these days. To the handling is fairly average in the mid-size car segment. I wouldn't call it any better or any worse than the average, you know, Prius or Honda Civic hybrid, or even mid-size cars like a Nissan Sentra. You can see the Leaf is actually fairly spacious even in the rear. You can easily fit 5 people for lunch, 4 people for your average commute. Taller drivers and taller passengers don't have a problem. There's a decent amount of headroom, and there's also a decent amount of legroom. So, you know, I'm 6 feet tall and I still have at least 3 or 4 inches of legroom left here in the rear. So you could easily fit, you know, a 6'5", 6'6" person in the front and a 6 foot tall adult in the rear as well. This does come at a price, however. Our Nissan Leaf SL started out at $37,250. Now, I won't go into the tax rebates because there are tax credits, tax rebates, and other tax incentives and assistance in charging stations, etc., that are available to you depending on what state you live in. So I'll let you go and explore those on your own. But just sticker price-wise, $37,000 is about $8,000 more than your average mid-size sedan. So supposedly the average car sold in America is about $30,000 in 2011. You can definitely easily find a Toyota Camry, Honda Accord, Volkswagen Passat in that price range. So how do they stack up versus something at the $37,000 mid-size price range is a good question, and it's one that I've been asked before. And the Leaf definitely has some corners cut in that respect. The carpet is not quite as nice, the headliner is not quite as nice. You won't find leather upholstery at any price. You won't find dual zone climate control or cooled seats, radar cruise control, lane departure warning, lane departure prevention, blind spot warning, anything like that in the Nissan Leaf. But you will find is an awful lot of batteries and an all-electric car that supposedly costs only a few dollars a day to charge up, even in California at our high electric rates. So if you're looking for a commuter car and you live less than 50 miles from work, especially if you can charge at work, then the Leaf actually makes fairly good sense. Maintenance costs are greatly reduced compared to a regular car. There are no belts, no spark plugs, no oil to change, etc. So time will tell. So that's been our quick look at the 2012 Nissan Leaf SL. Check out thetruthaboutcars.com for news reviews and, of course, the full review on the Nissan Leaf coming up soon.